So with this Arjun 2.0, what next now?
We've all tried our best. Nobody goes in to make a flop film or a bad film. And I don't like people talking about me behind my back. I just rather be honest about the way I am. सब आपको वैसे ही पसंद नहीं करने वाले. मैं फेक भी होऊंगा तो लोग बोलेंगे ये फेक. मैं वो कोलैबोरेटिव आदमी हूँ जिसने इस पिक्चर में काम किया जहाँ पे 7 और हीरो हैं और मैं विलन हूँ. I'm not trying to say he shouldn't do it, I should do it, or why is he getting it? Boss, they're very good actors. मुझे ये भी नहीं कि मैं इससे बेटर या कम हूँ. मुझे मेरा काम करना है.
Hi, this is Bhavna and you're watching India Today. Well, a sign of a good hero is not someone who doesn't get beaten down, but of someone who rises back after getting beaten down. And here I have Arjun Kapoor joining me only on India Today for a lovely chat after the massive success of Singham Again.
That's a nice way of introducing me.
That is true, right? Like I think that every time I think of the journey that Arjun Kapoor has had in this industry, I always feel that every time anyone would say that, oh, where is Arjun Kapoor going? Where is he? Is he even still there? You come back, you rise like a phoenix and you're just like, hey.
Well, there's a reason I have a tattoo of a phoenix for that reason.
Oh, lovely. So, I mean, you believe
nice me. That आपने बोला कि phoenix की तरह rise करो, तो मेरे body पे ही चिपका है phoenix.
It's like, yeah, I agree. It's like
screams rise.
But you know, I have to firstly congratulate you, Arjun. When I saw the trailer itself, I had mentioned
when we
it.
Met, you told me, yes.
I knew that this is going to be the role that will sort of cement you back.
I'm glad you felt that way, but it still has to happen. You know, वो होना पड़ता है. लोग जब बोलते हैं आसपास, when you've been through ups and downs in your life, you become a little practical and say, okay, let it happen.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing.
Yeah, true.
And of course, I knew that's the reason I did it. I believed it would be good, but how good, at what level? Because I always feel the film is the most important. अगर film चलती है तो सबका भला होता है. So for me, I was always more excited and intrigued how the people watching this loved franchise would react with my character, because there's a lot of love for years where Singham is concerned. So I appreciate what you were saying and all the other media folk were saying, but at that point I also knew that the film has to land also for my character to work.
No, because I remember you just said that let the film release and let's see how it goes. And now that we have seen the reactions, tell me, does it kind of validate? Because you know, when you're going through a rough phase in your career, you obviously go into self-doubt and you don't know how much ready is the audience to sort of accept you back. Did this validate?
So of course the validation is there, but you know, when you're thinking of self-doubt, you're not trying to put the pressure on the audience. You're trying to put pressure on yourself. You know, you feel at least I work that way. I always believed if I do a good job, that audience that liked me during Ishaq Zadeh, and then after that for all those films that did well, would again reconnect and again be happy and excited to watch me. The pressure and doubt was within myself. I never doubted the audience. Because like I always say, there's a huge difference between people who like you and are criticizing you and people who just enjoy criticizing you. I've always worked towards knowing that there is, because आप आम इंसान की तरह घूमते भी हो ना, you meet people. It's not like people are shunning you and saying we never want to see you. So I knew that there was a likability to me. I knew there was a certain connect. The pressure was always on myself. The self-doubt was, am I choosing? Am I able to find the right film? Am I able to connect with the audience? Am I going to be able to pull this rabbit out of the hat by going so extreme? It's a very insecure profession. You're trying to project yourself as a hero. That's the conditioning that you created with the audience. And in that, to go out there and do a film where there are 6-7 other heroes, so to say. And it's a very hero-villain film, you know. It's not an actor film per se. It's playing to the posturing of being a hero and a villain. So मैं जब decision ले रहा था, the self-doubt was only, can I pull it off or not? In the sense, I needed to work very hard to pull it off. And it has to come together from my conviction, which I do believe with interacting with Rohit sir, I got that power, and then I was able to believe in myself more, because he believed so much in me.
But does it ever happen on set when you were playing Danger Lanka and because this is a character which you can take as far as one could get, because it's a
unhinged, he doesn't care.
So did you have several discussions with Rohit where you are just like, you know, how far should I take this? Because at the back of your head, you also know that people are going to see you after a while in this role, and you hope that
when I'm doing the film, when people will see it, you have to be honest to what you're doing. No matter mainstream ho, independent cinema ho, hum bolte badi, choti, whatever kind of film, whatever role, at that moment, conviction is a term we use in our industry. You need to be convinced, and your conviction has to show on camera. So, of course, I spoke to Rohit sir a lot, and he allowed me to take chances and do things. The way I walked, the way I posture, the way I move, the smile he liked. You know, when I did it, he said, "Ye kar, ye acha lagta hai." the koita in the mouth,
Oh, that was
leaning
yours.
out of the window and doing that.
Yeah,
He said,
yeah.
okay, this looks good, do it. Then playing the thing with the hand while waiting for what tiger is up to. Everything, small things, all across. I mean, leaning into Kareena and saying, इस बार रावण है तो राम भी आएगा अपनी सीता को बचाने. वो लिखा था जिस तरह it was supposed to be performed me standing at a distance. I said, but I want to come close to intimidate her.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, do it. So I was having fun doing the role. I didn't think of. Okay, it's not an exam, but if you think about the result, you want to enjoy the journey. It's a very cliched way of saying it, but I was just grateful to be given this chance, because when I reached the set and the look came through, I said, yeah, we've got something that is exciting on camera.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
So then I became excited to put more into it. And then Rohit sir naap tol ke bolte the, aise kar, ye mat kar, ye kar. And then it became a lot of fun working with him on the role, not thinking about the audience, because he knows his job. Yeah, he knows the audience. Mera kaam hai, mera kaam karna. Yeah.
Do you ever feel, I have always felt that you're a director's actor in a lot of ways. Like you, every time
any actor is a director's actor.
No, but like I feel that in every film where you've gotten a director who trusts you the way one should, you have delivered a fabulous performances. Why I say this is because for the longest time, there has been a perception about you that theek thak hai, shayad acting, you have heard so many things about that as well.
So in all honesty, I would like to say, I do not like to turn around and point a finger at any of the people I've worked with, because they've all tried their best. We've all tried our best. Nobody goes in to make a flop film or a bad film.
True.
They're all good directors. That's why I chose to work with them. Directors are very important to finally put the film together. Kai bar wo kar paate, kai bar nahi ho pata. I don't like to blame or point that, I'm good only when the director is good. I have a responsibility towards the film. When the film doesn't land, there are a lot of things suffer. It's very rare that a film doesn't do well and you are outstanding and the film doesn't do well. It's very rare. Everything has to work in the film for your performance also to shine. So, what the perception is comes from perhaps some of the films not panning out. I wouldn't say it's alone the work. If you go back, like Sandeep or Pinky Farrar, I loved my performance in it. If you can turn around and see it again ever. I feel I did a great job. It came together when people saw it finally on OTT.
Yeah.
Fantastic director. When I did a Panipat, I was sincere about what I was doing in the film. Ashutosh Gawariker, fantastic director. He made the film he wanted to make.
Yeah.
At that point of time, it did 35 crores. It could have done way more if there were circumstances that aligned. So yeah, director, actor, har actor hota hai. मैं ये मानता हूँ. When the film comes together, a lot of things get appreciated. When the films don't come together, a lot of things get forgotten. People forget that they've liked you in films in the past because you see a lot of films that are not working. When you're not engaged or entertained, there are a lot of reasons for it. I don't think it's only the performance of the director alone. When everything is sitting right now, they remember the good parts about you. So in this film also, you're liking Danger Lanka because the film is working also.
True.
You enjoy Danger Lanka and then you're able to say, okay, we really like Arjun again. But it comes more from, I feel, the film working to a great degree.
This was important for you, to hear people say that, we really love Arjun as an actor and we love him now as Danger Lanka as well.
Of course, you work for the audience. People who pay money to go and watch your films. Because I've grown up as an actor who's done films on the big screen.
Yeah.
At least I've grown up watching.
True.
And my career started with big screen entertainers. So the audience for me is a very wide spectrum. Today with OTT coming in, of course, there's a different audience that has settled into watching a lot of material at home, which I also would like to connect with. It's not that I'm not interested. I would like to do that also, but ye mera ghar hai. Being on the big screen, you want to feel a sense of belonging and a connection with the audience again. Also, to a great degree, I felt I owed a lot of people who believed in me and were not able to see me shine.
Yeah.
I owed it for the kind of love and support they've given silently. And they needed an opportunity to feel validated. So more than me, I feel the audience has always given me a lot of love.
Yeah.
I've not been able to give them the performance of the film. Perhaps it's not panned out perfectly. I think this is that moment which I'm able to reconnect and thank them, and also win over people who perhaps had stopped believing or never believed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is
That's
important.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's important. Audience ke bina hum kuch nahi hai.
That is so true. But Arjun, rarely do I see actors, especially in today's time, who are so aware about these things. Like, no, genuinely. And I say this with a lot of, earnesty and sincerity, that because we deal with actors also on a daily basis, we don't see so many people who are so self-aware in that sense that, to understand that maybe the audience never stops loving as long as you give them the kind of performance.
One big advantage in this is that I've grown up in this profession. I've seen the ups and the downs. I understand Fridays can change people, can change a lot of perception, can change a lot of things in your life. And I've also understood you need to play the game of respect patiently. Like you cannot just come in and disconnect with the audience and say मुझे सब कुछ पता है. When it's there's a chemistry with the audience that you create. So you need to listen and you need to be honest. आप mirror में देखोगे, when you look and you cannot be क्या बोलते हैं dilulu.
Are we getting into the Gen Z mode?
It's not going to get you too far,
Yeah.
You need to be honest to yourself when you go to bed at night. It's important. Of course, it's not only me. I'm sure there are a lot of other actors. Maybe I'm more open and vocal about it. I think I'm more blatantly, I'm self-aware and I make no bones about it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people have this issue about accepting that things have gone wrong. Admitting it publicly. How long are you going to hide behind that facade? And what are you gaining by it? This big lie. मैं pretentious आदमी हूँ नहीं. ना मैं off screen pretend कर सकता हूँ. ना मैं वो सब कर सकता हूँ to create this aura around me that I'm a big superstar. When I feel things are not panning out, I become like that. I understand it. So that's just my personality also. Like I said, growing up here, I've seen the ups and downs. So you don't get unfazed by it, but you can't be delusional and saying, if I pretend that I'm very, very successful and my last film was a blockbuster, nobody will come to know. People do know. They'll just say it behind your back.
Yeah.
And I don't like people talking about me behind my back. I just rather be honest about the way I am.
Absolutely. But has it ever worked against you? Because the moment you're too honest, be it in public eye or otherwise, I mean, I have more often than not, I have seen people face the consequences of being too honest as well.
See, being too honest to other people, I feel is allowed when you are honest to yourself. मैं जब किसी से कुछ expect करता हूँ, जब किसी चीज पे react करता हूँ, I'm reacting because I would expect the same out of them. So, in that sense, I think the people around me, the close people around me know how I am. I'm a straight shooter. I'm very realistic. I'm very practical. And I allow people in my close circle to know that this is what I expect of you and you can expect the same out of me. That is professional life.
Correct.
Personally, I'm not somebody who's difficult to understand because once you get to know me, my honesty is the reason why people are close to me also. And I would expect my people also to be honest with me in that sense, my personal. I think what happens is I'm a bit misunderstood sometimes, but that's just, I don't think that's anything to do with how honest I am. I think that's just the demeanor that I carry. लोग सोचते हैं मैं arrogant हूँ, सड़ू हूँ, smile नहीं करता हूँ, खड़ूस हूँ. That's the one problem that I've faced in this industry slowly that I'm trying to recorrect or recalibrate, whether it's through the media, whether it's interacting with you all, whether it's meeting people. It's very strange, but I'm a very low-key person who doesn't like to project too much. So what happens is that comes across as detached, disinterested, upset. And I have a deadpan face. So बहुत problem होती है लोगों को समझाने में कि गुस्सा नहीं हूँ. Actually, this is how I am. And I have eyes that perhaps make it feel like which has worked in Danger Lanka case.
I was just about to say,
I don't know, man. I'm misunderstood more when I don't talk.
Yeah, that's why you should keep talking.
To y'all.
No, because if you ask the journalists, I think more, I mean, if I have to take a ratio, 90% of them will say that you are one of the most amazing person to talk to.
Yeah, because when I do talk, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, so I think that is wonderful, right? But I think when you're projecting this person who's so articulate and who's so forthcoming with his thoughts and everything, I feel like you're also putting yourself in a position where you're vulnerable to the audience.
Yeah, always.
Right? That also gives them the opportunity, or rather a chance, however you want to look at it, to form opinions about you, which could be good or bad. And I think sometimes that has not worked for you because people...
देखो कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे उनका काम है कहना, ठीक है? In our society now, social media has become more relevant than even a normal conversation. Perception is the new reality. So I get where you're coming from and what you're saying. But does that mean I stop being authentic? I still have to be myself. And naturally, I'm somebody who is vulnerable and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I'm the first to put my hand up when something goes wrong. And I'm perhaps not the first to go and take credit when things go right. I'm that person. Now, I cannot change that. What I can do is today I can sit here after the film has done its business. It's being liked, appreciated, and my work is I can come out and again be vulnerable only.
Yeah.
I can't come out and be a different Arjun Kapoor just because a film has given me a chance to reconnect with the audience. So I'll take that chance here because what's the best way of putting it? I'd rather be authentic and have people forming their own opinions rather than be fake and pretend and try and please everybody. Because सब आपको वैसे ही पसंद नहीं करने वाले. मैं fake भी होऊंगा तो लोग बोलेंगे ये fake है. मैं असली हूँ तब भी लोग बोलेंगे हमको ये पसंद है या नहीं है. तो ठीक है. I'd rather be myself. It's a lot less tiring.
Absolutely. Has the way industries, because you know, at the end of the day, like you said, industry also looks at a hero or an actor and judge them basis their last hit. Now with Singham Again doing this fabulous numbers, has that also changed where more people are now coming to you, walking up to you and saying?
So I would like to, and I would genuinely like to say this, our industry is not as fickle as it comes across in terms of, the industry has been very, very kind to me in that sense. I've been working for many years here, and I would like to say, your value changes.
Yeah.
The way people come and meet you is, those are वो surface level के लोग हैं जो आपके असली लोग हैं industry के अंदर ना, they will give you a sense about things much before the release.
Yeah.
Of course, there are few people that will meet you nicely more than they used to, and there are some people who will reach out to you a bit more. वो तो दस्तूर है दुनिया का. But what I would like to say is, I can sense the equity that I've generated, which is more a business thing, you know. Okay, there is a certain excitement how to look at Arjun differently has been coming. That's coming, you know. Okay, we can crack him in a different way. We can see him in a different light. That kind of role we can look at him. I can sense that energy around me, that people are excited to cast me in a unique way versus feeling, अच्छा ये तो hero है, सिर्फ hero का role करना चाहता है. Today, anyways, hero और non-hero की
the definition has changed.
So what's happened is there's evidence. It's like we have proof that Arjun can be recalibrated into whatever you want, and I think that creates more curiosity and excitement about how do we use an actor who's willing. Like I said, एक surface पे there is a certain fake amount of rise of excitement that happens. But once you part all that, I can sense an energy. Okay, there is an actor here who's proven his mettle in a mainstream commercial film with his performance, and we can really utilize him in a good way.
Yeah, I have to also mention that I feel you have constantly challenged the notion of a hero on screen with all your projects. Actually, I mean, the idea of masculinity which one has when it comes to just watching on screen, you have challenged that with different kind of projects. Do you feel now the audience is more prepared to watch you in those kind of roles versus before?
No, they like me in Kian Ka also.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yes.
I think they were ready then also. We chose that material, and it's a very, today also it's a touchy, I mean, I've danced in heels in a music video in that film. And I'm playing a house husband whose ambition is to be a homemaker. It's not that he's jobless, so he's sitting at home, you know. He wanted to do that. That character's impulse and instinct was to be a homemaker because he valued what his mother had gone through. Not only that, I think Divakar's film, the toxic masculinity in the Bharat and India conflict about, you know, modern India versus the slightly more grounded India, and the climax in that film. I think audiences have been ready for quite a while. We need to find material. But
I feel like now the acceptance for these roles, perhaps earlier if it was 30 versus 30 is to 70, it's 50-50 now.
Again, depends on the film. I feel if the film lands, then 30 ka 80 ho jayega, pata bhi lagega. I mean, at that point in time, if you look at it in 2015, Kian Ka did 55 crores.
True.
Which is a very good number. Today, you would take 55 crores for any film.
Yeah, that's so true. It would be like,
and it did well overseas. It did well on satellite. It has tremendous recall value. I've met so many people who don't watch films all the time, but they've gone with their wives and seen the film. And husbands have always said, you know, because of you, we had to do household work and all.
Thank you.
So I feel, of course, the better films you make, the more audience you'll get. I think where gender or where masculinity is concerned, or where मुझे वैसे ये women oriented और ये feminine, you know, ये बहुत बड़ी बातें हो जाती है. I think when you're making a film, like I respect a film like Razi because Vicky Kaushal has a great role in that. The story is from her point of view, but Vicky is amazing in the film. You cannot make that film without a Vicky Kaushal.
True.
And I said this recently to Alia also. When you do a 2 states, I'm narrating the story, but she's so good in the film. I mean, there are a couple of scenes where she nailed it. So I think even in that sense, when you make a film that is, whether it's man or woman, female centric, male centric, parts have to be good. And I think that's one thing the audience now enjoys, is length of the role doesn't matter. I mean, like Tripti came in an animal and blew people away. So I think we are at that point in our industry where audiences, if they like you, they connect with you instantly. So you can tell a story about more feminine, more masculine, whatever it is, but you need to connect with them with the performance that you give.
No, but where does that conviction comes from, Arjun? Because you did it when it was not a norm in the industry. Today it's a norm, perhaps. But you
यार मैंने तो
chose this
2 हीरो
path.
फिल्म भी पहले कर ली थी,
बहुत पहले in fact.
गुंडे
Yeah.
कर ली थी मैंने.
हाँ.
I did Aurangzeb, which was an ensemble without songs for YRF at that point in time. I did Finding Fanny, that was an English film. I
So
did.
you realized
I was one of the
that,
first few who did a South remake.
Yeah.
I did Okudu's remake, which was
Yeah.
Tevar. So but I never did it wanting to prove this. Now I have to remind people.
कि ये किया है मैंने.
Because
याद
मैंने
करो,
तभी
हाँ.
PR नहीं किया उसके बारे में
हाँ.
कि मैं I'm the first guy who crossed 100 crores from my generation. I'm the first guy who did this. I'm the first guy who did that. That's not. What is the point of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no point to it. I just did it because I want to make films. I love being in this industry. I love the profession. मेरी excitement थी. I can tell this story. I can do that story. I can do that. Or I can do this.
Yeah.
I never looked at saying, okay, मेरे को audience ने they've liked me in action, so I'll only
You
do action.
Yeah.
I went on conviction of Balki narrating that one idea. Balki sir narrated, and I had this tattoo, and I told him because of that story you're narrating, I'm going to do the film because he didn't know this.
Yeah.
He told me every boy grows up wanting to be like their father. What if you met a boy who grows up wanting to be like his mother? That's the only line he narrated. I said, sir, I've got this, and I completely understand what that emotion is. Aap likh lo. If it works, we'll do it. So I went as an audience, as a person. I'm also an audience. I've done all those films because I'm an audience member, which I do feel in the last few years, I stopped watching films in theatres and stuff like that. That happens to all of us. So you disconnect with what you like also. But the conviction has always come from me being an audience member. मैं अकेले जाके picture देखता हूँ. So I always go by what I feel. Some mistakes, some learnings, and hopefully today I'll be able to take better decisions to make better films.
Of course, and please do, because I think that you have so much more potential left unleashed, and I hope that filmmakers can finally see that now.
Thank you
Arjun.
so much. I hope so.
I know they will. I mean, come on. But you know, like you mentioned, you have someone who has always loved films so much.
Yes.
For someone who has this unconditional love for films, to just hear you say that there was a period where you perhaps did fall out of love with films for a brief period.
Yeah, I did.
I want to know, when was that?
So it wasn't the work. It was like I was not able to watch other people's films and other work. I used to feel like, why am I not getting this? I want to do stuff like this. I didn't feel engaged like a viewer because my personal issues started taking. I couldn't enjoy what it was. I was starting to compare it to what's going on in my life. Yeah. Sorry, you asked.
No, I was just asking, when was that point again where you felt like, okay, all done and dusted. Now I feel like
there was no particular point.
No, but like that period, perhaps.
I think while I was shooting Singham, it was a bit tough. But the work kept me happy. That kept me engaged, and I started to focus on doing what I could with the film and with my character. I think I would have to say once I finished Singham, I took some time off for myself, and that was perhaps a couple of months back. I would say May or June this year. I think post this birthday of mine, I started feeling a bit more stability, in that sense, where I was able to recalibrate and start watching stuff again. Time लगता है, ऐसा कोई एक दिन नहीं है, there are good days and bad days. Obviously today it's a lot easier for me to watch content now because I'm a little happier. So it depends. I was going through a phase where, like I said, I was looking at my career through everything I was watching. I was not able to enjoy it for what it was. But yeah, I think today I'm in a much better place.
Absolutely.
And I'm winning that battle for now, so I'm happy with it.
No, touch wood to that. But because I know what it feels like to look at your career and constantly somewhere compare it with others because everyone else is doing kind of
I was never comparing with others. मुझे मौका चाहिए था. मेरी actually, मैं कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं उस कंपैरिजन में. मैं वो कोलैबोरेटिव आदमी हूँ जिसने इस पिक्चर में काम किया जहाँ पे 7 और हीरो हैं और मैं विलेन हूँ. मैं थोड़ी ना चेक कर रहा हूँ बाकी का रोल क्या है. Otherwise, I wouldn't do the film. I'm not somebody who compares. So my only thing was I want a chance to do stuff like this. I never said, why is he doing it and I'm not doing it?
Yeah.
It's not like when I saw Jaane Jaan, I'm looking at Vijay Varma and Jaideep Ahlawat saying, why are they doing it? I'm looking at their work and I'm saying, even I want to do work like this. I also want to do this kind of a film. For example, when I sit at home and watch a film, I'm not trying to say he shouldn't do it, I should do it, or why is he getting it? Boss, they're very good actors. But even I'm a good actor. I just want a chance to prove it. And I really want to work with all sorts of people. That's the fundamental core person that I am. I don't have this thing कि इसको क्यों मिल रहा है काम, उसको क्यों मिल रहा है. मुझे ये भी नहीं कि मैं इससे better या कम हूँ. मुझे मेरा काम करना है. Now I'm 12 years in this profession. I don't need to be so petty.
Yeah. True.
I don't need to be so petty. I need to do what I can do best.
No, why I was asking that was because I feel like when you're in that zone and when you're kind of isolated yourself in ways, right? Like you're not reaching out so much or you're not in public eye so much. Where did you draw the strength to sort of take each day at its time? Because it's difficult.
No, see, again, when you're talking about anybody that has this issue or goes through this phase or goes through these circumstances, you need to understand why. First, I tried to understand why this is happening, because I was confused. A person who doesn't have these traits, I suddenly started developing these tendencies, which was I was overthinking, I was not able to do things, I was not enjoying the regular stuff. Like watching a film at night was feeling not nice to me. You need to go in and understand it. उसके लिए आप isolate करना जरूरी नहीं है. मैंने isolate नहीं किया. In fact, I went and spoke.
Okay.
I spoke to my friends, I spoke to the family members, I spoke to a specialist, that is a therapist. तो मैंने isolate बिल्कुल नहीं किया. वो actually dangerous चीज है. I would like to say nobody should ever go into a shell alone. You need to work with everybody to find a way. And this wasn't only about my career. It's about saying, okay, my daily life was getting affected.
Yeah.
Every day to get out of bed and do things. No, it wasn't a challenge. Again, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ challenge है. The challenge was to do something about it. I could have continued being like that, but I took it upon myself to do something about it. I didn't isolate. I took it upon myself to heal. But what I didn't prepare myself for कि ये time लगता है. गोली खाए और ठीक नहीं हो सकते. That is the problem. You can't one day wake up and say it's all sorted. It's very slowly you build yourself again. Because you're understanding your problems.
Yeah.
So you need to work on them slowly. You need to speak about it. You need to be in the moment and live with the fact that there are certain things you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Acceptance. In all that, you're also a professional actor. That's a public figure. So you have to go out there and put yourself out there while आप अंदर जा रहे हो, लेकिन आपको बाहर भी रोज जाना पड़ता है. That balance can be exhausting. So there's not one particular day that I feel I came out of it. There's not one particular moment where I isolated. It's a very continuous journey that's still ongoing. Even today, when I'm talking to you, I might have a day or two that's bad in the coming weeks.
True.
But I have to get up and deal with it.
Yeah.
But now I'm much better prepared because I've faced it and I've accepted that this is a problem that happens. कभी-कभी होता है ना, आप जब वर्कआउट करते हो तो अरे यार my lower back starts hurting.
Yeah,
true. So okay, we'll do stretching properly ताकि it doesn't happen. So
true.
I know it sounds oversimplified, but I've reached a place where I've found a balance of how to take care of myself even when that happens. And that's all I'm doing actually.
And I'm so glad that you're doing that. Now with Danger Lanka, because I don't have a lot of time, I want to ask, where does this go now? Because I think we have seen what has happened on screen for sure. But I believe with Rohit Shetty films, no one is really dead until you see the dead body completely.
आप जब रोहित सर से बात करोगे तो उनसे जरूर पूछना, मुझे बता देना. Please let me know. Please tell him I live one building away from him. I'll be reporting for shooting. I'm his neighbor, and he should give his neighbor even more love than he already has.
Absolutely, but okay. I mean,
he's the deciding factor. Absolutely. मैं अकेले कुछ नहीं decide कर सकता.
Okay, so with this Arjun 2.0, what next now? Like
next is the next interview, right?
No, I am looking forward to seeing much more from you, and when it comes to just.
I would also hope so, but right now I'm just. One of the main things I've learned is to live in the moment. Past खत्म हो गया, future भी पता नहीं है. आज I'm getting this praise, I'm getting appreciation, I'm getting a reconnect with the audience, I'm getting to talk about my life. I'm living this moment. I'm just being very, very grateful and very happy right now. Future will sort itself out when I get out of this and I start thinking if I need to. I feel sometimes you should just let things happen also. इतनी कोशिश की थी सब कुछ करने की और चीजें सही नहीं पड़ रही थी. अब कुछ सही हुआ है, so I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, अब थोड़ा मतलब.
Yeah, I'll enjoy it for a bit at least. And then of course I'll be back talking to all of you all and doing much more work. But right now, for the next few days, I'm just soaking it all in. And
please continue to do so because people are loving. I remember talking to a few people when they were coming out of the theatre, and everyone is like, Danger Lanka
Please thank anybody that tells you nice things about me. I always say that.
I think next time I'll record it.
Yeah, please do.
But thank you so much, Arjun Kapoor, the man who always rises like a phoenix and will continue to do so. Thank you so much, Arjun.